Hey, what's going on, YouTubulous? EXO coming at you here. Pretty excited to share today's little featurette with you. As you know, we are in the process of building a humongous sound system in the good old 3500, and it's gonna have a buttload of bass. I'm talking big time. So what often gets thrown to the side, at least for me, is sharing more about the mids and highs. I barely ever talk about it. So from now on, while I film more of the big build, I'm gonna try include more stuff in the meantime to share important choices like alternators, amps, wires, and of course, mids and highs. To kick it off right for today, let's dive into the first big choice, a big boy amp for the mid-range speakers. This was a no-brainer for me, man. What's it been, like 10 years now, running Crescendo amps and speakers? Always been a fan, and this right here is also one of my personal faves, the Concerto series, baby. This is the amplifier that's gonna be running all the mids up front. Well, a pair of them to be exact. Dual Crescendo 3000.2s. Going into this with an extra heavy build already, I knew I needed as much wattage as I could get from a small amp. That meant class D instead of AB, dang it. Real good filters and a super strong power supply. Honestly, this 2-channel hit the nail right on the head, really. Coming in at 13 pounds, it's definitely got that high power little footprint thing going on. Look at this thing, over 3,000 watts and just over a foot long. Ha, 1 ohm stable too, but I'll probably end up wiring to 2 ohms. Even then, it still puts out over like 2,000 watts. Not bad for a little guy, huh? And what's even cooler is the crossover network. You can run these suckers in high pass, low pass, or both simultaneously in bandpass mode. That essentially means using both sides of the crossover at the same time. You don't have to pick just one. That's really helpful for 4-way setups like mine that have dedicated mid bass. Just narrow the bandwidth on here to like 60 to 2K, and you don't even need a processor. Could even do the same thing for a set of upper mids with the 10x multiplier switch turned on. Another thing to consider in my situation is how hot that side compartment gets where this will be mounted. Even with vents, there's only so much I can do without AC back there. So it is nice to see a little fan mounted inside the amp to exchange at least some air. You'd be surprised how effective just one fan can be when placed in the right spot, so I'll need all the help I can get roasting up on the summer days with that black paint job, that's for sure. It's got 0 gauge inputs, 8 gauge outputs, and of course those high quality RCAs. My only gripe is that they don't match the stinking symphonies anymore. What the heck? I'll probably chuck a couple of those on my tweets, but man, that iconic orange, it's gonna be all mixed up now, but no big deal really. Black is the new orange, right? And I can dig it. They even got that cool little C still tooled into the sides and everything. The remote knob is pretty decent as well. Not something I'd ever use myself, but it does have a clipping indicator on it. Same thing goes for the side panel next to the power and protect lights. Pretty standard. I've just never had good luck with onboard remotes, so I usually stick with RCA level control or volume knobs through a deck. So at the end of the day, I'll have 2 of these 3Ks powering 18 Ultra Neos. Oh yeah. The first amp is going to be going to the left and right door panels, powering 8 8s at 2 ohm, and then this amp is going to the left and right door panels, powering 10 6s at 1.3. Whew, this is going to scream. I cannot wait. Now for something a little bit different, since I'll be running lithium batteries, I have been super curious about what the cutoff voltage is for this amp. I know 6S LTO likes to charge anywhere between 14.5 up to 16 volts. Whew. So the question is, how much can this amplifier take? Let's go ahead and fire up the power supply and see exactly when the amp turns itself off. We got the extra DMM for accurate readings closer to the terminals, and this will determine whether or not I'll need to have a dedicated 12-volt side or if I can just have one big, large LTO bank. Fingers crossed, right? Let's see what we're working with. All right, amp is on, fan is a-spinning, sitting right at 12 volts, but good thing we're probing down here because our power supply thinks we're at 12.3, but these cheap wires that come with them always have some voltage drop, so that's actually a good thing that we're probing from down there. So let's go ahead and slowly climb the ladder of voltage and see what the verdict is. Whoa, that was a big jump. I'm using the coarse pot up here on the power supply. Oh, you can hear that the fan speed is increasing in RPM along with the voltage. That means it's wide open, plugged right into the wires. I like that. No voltage regulator to keep it at a specific RPM. That's nice. All right, once I get to 15 volts, I'm gonna switch over to the fine adjustment. All right, let's go ahead and go down here. So, realistically, the beginning of what I find acceptable for charging my cells at would probably be 15.5. That's the lowest I would realistically wanna go. So, let's fine tune it up to 15.5. I remember my old Symphonies didn't even like that. Okay, there we go, 15.5. Everything's still running, the fan's going even faster. No signs of backing down. So then the next, I think, the next area I would find super comfortable is 15.8. That's actually a really comfortable set point in my mind. So let's climb the ladder to 15.8 and see if that set point is also acceptable for this amp. I know it's very marginally different, but you wouldn't believe, man. These things have a lot of protect features, so that 3/10, there we go, 15.8. You never know, it could make a difference, and it seems to be doing just fine. No protection lights, 15.8. Those Yinlong cells would really like that if I were to set it, or the alternators at that. So, if I was going to a competition, here's the next level. Here's like the maximum I would do. I know that the cells don't like to go past 2.7, that would be 16.2. But in my mind, I think 16 would be a good ultra maximum, I'm talking SPL burp type of situation before you're going in the lanes, a purpose-driven set point. So let me raise it up to 16 and see what happens. I'm a little nervous on this one. 16 volts, oh man. She's taking it. That fan is friggin' rearing to go, man. It's almost taking off the table. So that would be my personal maximum ever. Like I said, like I just explained the scenario where I would use this number. Let's go to the maximum ever. 2.7 volts per cell times 6. That would be 16.2. Oh boy, let's jump up to 16.2 and see if we're cooking with gas. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some red lights here. Just for its own sake. You've got to be kidding me! Nice! 16.2? I love it! So even if I wanted to get every single bit out of my battery bank up to 16.2, the amplifier is still going to be okay for the mids and highs. I remember my other scenario was kind of, I don't know, every time the bass, dropped and it spiked back up, the Symphonies would have a little bit of trouble. That was like the version 1 Symphonies, I believe. But now here we are on the Concertos. I'm gonna ramp her back down, and she's loving every minute of this, it seems. So that makes me happy. That's really informative. I'm gonna be able to have one large battery bank instead of having a separator with a 12-volt side. I would probably end up hooking up the PCM to that too, plus the mids. But now I'm just gonna see how the vehicle fares all inclusively. Pretty sweet. Let's bring her back down to a baseline. That click is the relay inside the power supply. Oh, we dropped a little bit below 12. So there we go. She's getting hot on the bench. This thing is getting hot, believe it or not, even though we were only putting out a couple amps. It's only like a 5 amp power supply. So I'm feeling good about that. I think I wanna do one more thing today though, which is fire up a quick power test with the audio multimeter. I have one of those things from down at Showtime, and I really wanna see how much power this is putting out at, like not a low ohm, but maybe like, I don't know, anywhere between 2 to 4 ohm or something like that. Just see what she's working with. And remember, if you're looking for new car audio gear, including these awesome Crescendo amps, check out Showtime Electronics, baby. I'll be there waiting for you. All right, juices are flowing here on low power and low frequency. We're at what, 20 hertz? I got my app open up here. I'm just gonna, scrub up until we find a good 4 ohm mark. Right now at 20 hertz, we're at freaking almost 17 ohms. Isn't it crazy how much it varies from frequency? What your actual rise is. So let's go ahead and scrub our numbers and increase it until we find a good a good frequency that has a good ohm load while not, you know, stretching her too hard without reaching the mechanical limits. So right now we're at 25 and 7 ohms. That's not 4 ohms. Let's go to 30, check that. 30, oh, we're getting closer to 4. Man, only 10 frequencies off and we're at 4 ohms. Isn't that incredible? I still think at 30 hertz, this will probably move more than I want it to at, you know, 1300 watts. What's this rated at? 650 times 2 at 4 ohms is about 1300. So, you know, this is a 1000 watt subwoofer. And speaking of it, man, holy crap. Talk about ultra plush, man. This thing barely makes any mechanical noise. I love this thing. Dancing like a ballerina there. Special subwoofer here too, man. If you can get the name of it, I'll give you a little special bonus. Well, a high five. How about that? If you know actually what this subwoofer is. Let's take her up to 35, see what we're working with there. 3.6. Oh, we're reaching the point of our dip here. So we're actually at our low point. At 40 hertz, the next 5 up, we should reach closer to 4. Nope, still at that low dip. So let's go to 45. Still kind of in that hump. So let's go to 50. All right, looks like 50 could do it. We're at 4 ohms on the nose. So we reached past that little dip and now we're rising back to climb. So I think this will be a good number to give it a full power burp. It won't move so much, but we'll still be able to give her all the juice that we can. So we're at 50 hertz, you see on the phone. I'm gonna use my fancy little bass knob. Gotta love that Slam Panda freaking decoration, right? It looks beautiful. All right, so we're looking at anything over 1300 watts is a clear pass. Let's go ahead and slowly ramp it up. Gotta be careful, right? This woofer is rated for 1000 watts, 2000 watts max, so this should be no problem. 250, 500, 1000. Holy crap, I got 2K out of this thing. Are you joking me? I may have been clipping. It did sound like I went into a little bit of a soft clip there. That is pretty freaking sweet, man, if you ask me. There we go. 1500 watts, holding strong, no clipping. That is awesome. Let's bring her up to a soft clip right there. Anything over 2K, I heard it on my ear and you can see it on the amp. This thing's probably blocking it, but we did bring her to a soft clip. Oh yeah, that's bringing her up to her maximum rating, no big deal. But there we go, freaking crescendo. That's pretty freaking impressive. So at the end of the day, even if I have 2x rise or even freaking 3x rise, it seems like this thing is gonna do me real well on those door pens. Well, that should do it, YouTube. Just wanted to be a little goofy while we wrap things up with our blank canvas right here. Just imagine, this is the amp rack, 1 amp, 2 amp, 3, 4, run all of our heavy wires right through this convenient little conduit. Man, it's gonna be sweet. I hope you enjoyed watching today's video. If you found anything to be interesting, like maybe the bass knobs, that subwoofer, or even these amps, check out Showtime Electronics, baby. We've got all that. I'll include the links in the description. I've been doing something a little bit different in the meantime. That's why I've been kind of practicing the past 3 weeks with welding. I am super nervous to show you guys the footage that I have because, man, people on YouTube just eat those people apart. Like the newbies just starting out, they get trashed. So I'm like, man, do I just want to do that behind the scenes and then come at you guys with the project? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think I should include that, because maybe I could get some helpful pointers in the right direction. Until the next video, this is EXO signing out. Thanks for checking out the spread. Like I said, everything you saw is right at the Showtime site. And yeah, we will catch you guys on the rebound. Tons more stuff coming with the build. I'm just gonna do 1 more week of practicing before I get in there, because this is like the cutthroat do or die moment as far as the welding goes. So until the next video, this is EXO signing out. Stay on the lookout for all the awesome updates, guys. I love having your support and it really does mean a lot. Thanks for being here. Say goodbye, creepy. Say goodbye. Nah, he's lame. Bye.